Fatback Jackson. Ooh, with my co-host
Jordan Lee. F it is just me.
And this is the Cookout Podcast.
The world's most secure podcast.
Pull up and grab a seat, get a plate, we gon' eat. With Chucky and Jay Lee, I'm Vuskeen, I'ma preach.
Run through the city, we stay lit. It's the Cookout, pull up it. And your feels opinions, whole vibe go violent.
Cookout,
Eat up,
pull up,
drink up,
we lit,
always.
talk shit.
It's the cookout, y'all.
In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yo, what up? What up? It's your boy Vuskeen, aka Fatback Jackson. Ooh, with Big Dog Chucky Russell.
What's happening, folks?
This is the Cookout Podcast.
The world's most secure podcast.
How you doing?
Good.
We got Lolo, one of the people who came when we first started this cookout thing. She came when it was just the table in the basement
Yeah. Yeah.
with the one microphone.
One mic.
Yeah.
But it was a vibe.
It was.
But you couldn't see it.
Right. It was
Yeah.
You couldn't
audio.
see it. We was going all audio.
Yeah.
And now we done kind of really tried to give the cookout vibe. We
Yeah.
brought it to the sunroom.
Yeah.
We made it outside. You hear the dogs barking. You hear the birds chirping. A fly might fly on your face. Like it's for real.
Can't get more organic than
Yeah,
this.
it's real.
No,
It's
you know
real.
what the saying is, man. You can't go nowhere unless you start somewhere.
Exactly,
Period.
exactly. So Lolo, what's been up with you? You back?
I want to say I'm back.
You back?
I mean, I'm back to Cincinnati. I
Yeah,
want to
you
say
back.
I'm back. What do you mean?
Not like you back to Cincinnati. Like you
Oh,
back.
yeah.
You back to Ohio.
Yes.
You took a little. I wouldn't say a trip. You took you made a move
Yeah.
to Chicago.
Yeah. To have my second child.
And how
I was
how
mentally
that?
not okay, so I needed to lean in on my mom to help me.
That's dope because some people don't have their mothers for help or family
Yeah.
members for help. So.
No, my mom has always held it down for me. Like, if there's one person in life I owe everything in my life to, it's my mom. Like, she's always been there. You know what I'm saying? So,
And for those who can't see, she brought the baby with her.
yeah.
I told her I wanted to get this interview, wanted to come and chop it up with us, and she was like, I'm going to have my baby with me. And I said, that's fine, because at the cookout, we don't do things, we do things just off the wall. So she brought the baby with her. He's a good guy, good kid, good baby. He's over there chilling. He ate him some, what was that you gave him?
I always like berries with some oatmeal in it.
Berries and oatmeal. Now he got his water. He over there chilling.
Yeah, he's
just
7
He's
months.
a good kid.
Rain.
Rain,
Then I got a 2-year-old River.
River, right. So what was up with the names? Like what
So
what was the inspiration behind
okay,
it?
all right. So when I first got pregnant, I was like, I'm gonna have a girl. I already know it because I've always had a girl's name in mind, which was Gaia, and Gaia is Mother Earth. So I knew I wanted an Earth themed name. But then I found out I was having a boy, so I was like looking up boy possibilities just in case the anatomy came and it was a boy. So I'm like, okay. So I found River, and I really liked River because I'm like, it's unique. Plus, it's just a cute water name. Rivers are powerful. They're necessary. You know what I mean? So I feel like names have so much meaning in like and so everybody was like, you could have spelt it differently, but I spelt it river because the water in river is very powerful. So then it was January, I think when I looked at my text, it was January 6th. And I had a dream that I got pregnant and I was at a festival and I was like, I need to figure out a name for this baby. So this gay guy that I was working with at the time, I'm like, you need to come out to the car with me. We need to leave right now. We need to go figure out this name. And Rain came to mind. It was raining. It was raining. We were sitting in the car and Rain. I was like, Rain. It's the perfect name. I woke up. I texted my group chat, like, if I have another baby, I'm naming him Rain. Boy or girl, it doesn't matter. I'm naming the baby Rain. And I conceived him on January 16th. So I already knew February 4th when I found out I was pregnant, I already knew his name.
It's dope. So how was it? Because you had him you had him in Chicago. Mm-hmm. So how was it like adjusting to Chicago? Because we up right up the road from Cincinnati, and it's kind of more calm here, and then Cincinnati is busy. But
well, I was
Chicago
in the
is.
suburbs.
Okay.
So I wasn't in Chicago. I was in the suburbs. So I say Chicago because it's easy for people to relate the area. But it's like a middle town to Chicago where it's calm. But I was in a white area. So that's what I didn't like about it is we all know everybody in my life is black for real, except for a couple of girlfriends of mine. And it was just weird for me. Like these motherfuckers out here did not know who Maya Angelou was. They didn't know who Takeoff was when he died. I'm like, the fuck? Where are y'all? Where am I at right now?
Were these like old people or like
no,
people your
they
age?
were all younger people than me.
Oh, the Migos? That's crazy.
Everybody know the
Like,
Migos.
Migos is like worldwide.
I was so I cannot fucking believe where I'm at right now. And then it was like I never would see black people for real unless it was like just in passing because there was like a major highway. So it was like, okay, maybe we'd see like an Amazon driver or somebody would come in and work at the factories around there, but never really seen anybody black. So when I seen people at the grocery store, maybe in passing, I'd be like, God damn, like you're supposed to be my people. Like it was like I was like craving diversity. So when I'd come home to visit, it was just like, I was like, wow, this is crazy. Like being in Cincinnati and being in this city, I never think about the fact that like I'm around black people all day, every day. I don't even think about it because it's so natural and it just is what it is. Whereas out there, I'm like, if I see a black person, I'm like, oh my God.
Right.
It was weird. And it was weird for me because I felt like I was not around my people. I felt like I wasn't like fitting in.
That culture.
Yeah. So it was like really weird for me because like I always say like, it sounds crazy, but I swear to God, sometimes I just be forgetting that I'm white. Like I just don't, I see color. I'm not going to say I don't. I see color. It's just, I connect so much with black people that I just don't.
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't think of it.
But you understand that there is like white privilege though. You do understand.
Of course. And I know that I have it, especially being a white woman. Yeah.
So for the people who like didn't catch like some of our earlier interviews, what is your mother's ethnicity?
She's half black, she's half black, Indian, and white.
Okay.
My dad is all white.
Did you have a relationship with your dad also? Like
my dad raised me.
Oh, okay.
My dad raised me. My mom's always been a part of my life, but there was like a lot of issues in their own marriage. So she had my brother, he had me.
Okay. So,
I mean, a lot of who I am is because of my stepmom and my dad. Very stable household. The thing was that I was raised to be like with it in my ear of like, black people are not good. Black people don't have jobs. Black people are lazy. Black people this, black people that. But I've always felt so connected. So like even when I was younger, I would wake up in the middle of the night to watch black TV shows. So I would wake up in the middle of the night to watch like The Cosby Show and Fresh Prince and Martin and shit like that. I was so intrigued. And because where I grew up in Wisconsin, we didn't have there was 2 black kids in the entire city.
Wisconsin.
And they were adopted by a white family. So it was 2 brothers that were adopted by the white family. Oh, actually there was a third one because it was the 2 brothers and then one other guy. Okay. 2 in my grade. But they were not like, I never thought about them as black. It's fucked up to say, but so I have a good perspective of like some white people are truly like they say racist shit, they do racist shit, but they don't mean it. And so like from 2020 to now, it's been a very it's been very interesting because you get on social media and you have social media and podcasts and all of these people telling you black people shouldn't have to explain this. You should just know, but you just don't know. You don't just know. If you've never been around black people, if you haven't grown up in that culture, you don't just know. Right. It's the same thing as you saying, well, you should just know the Spanish culture. You should just know Mexicans and what their culture is and what they do and how they talk and what's racist and what's not. You don't know that until you're around it, and then you start to understand, oh, okay, if I say this, that's fucked up.
Right.
So it's like I've had a lot of conversations with black people about sometimes it's necessary to have the conversation because people are doing things and saying things that they don't even realize are racist,
And see, that's what we need to do. Like, when you say when it comes to like educating, like somebody might say something, and, you know, like I used to do it too. I just lash out, like fuck you say, like that was offensive. Like I'll smack the shit out of you right now. But sometimes they might not know.
They might not know.
So you got to break it down to them. Like, look, bro, we've been through this type of trauma, and this you don't say stuff like that.
Right.
You don't joke around. We don't take kind of that. You know what I mean? And then, you know, you always got the people that be like, well, that wasn't you. That was, you know, great grandparents.
Right.
But, you know.
But it doesn't take one conversation and that's why I feel like my perspective is so cool, because I have the perspective of I grew up in a white area but I was still intrigued by black people. But when I first then moved to Ohio, and I was friends with the only black kids in the school, right? So there was like 15 of them, but they all became my best friends. Like they all became people that are the ones that I fuck with. Can you get my son?
Oh, no. Slid out the...
I'm so sorry. Yeah, he can join us if that's okay.
Let's join him. Let's let him join.
This is Rain. But then, you know, I became cool with all of them, but then just from conversations with them, I started realizing like, oh, like when I remember I was so intrigued by my friend's hair, and I remember I first started to like do her hair and braid her hair, and I was
You
like,
asked
wow.
first before you touched it.
Yeah, because we were good friends at that point.
You know, you can't-
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can't just touch a black woman's hair.
But when I went to South Africa, everybody touched my hair. It was the first thing that they did was grab my hair. So just like I said, like you don't know until you know. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, here in America, we see this perspective. But then you have a white woman who goes over to South Africa, and you're around these kids that have never been around white people. And that's the first thing they do is grab your hair because they're intrigued by the texture of it, by how long it can get, all of that, how easy it is to throw it up in a ponytail.
Right.
So you don't know until you know, right? And so it's like I think that my perspective is cool because of the growing up and then being around black people and having these conversations. Dude, it took fucking years for me to understand, like, oh, I say racist shit.
Oh, yeah?
Because I didn't realize
You
that
didn't
it was
know.
racist.
And
because
this was like what? This like when, like as a teenage, like when you.
no, this is as an adult.
Oh, okay.
This is I'm dating a black man. We are living together, and we are arguing about Mike Brown and why it was not okay that he was shot and killed.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm on the side of what everybody white says. Well, he shouldn't have fucking done this. And it's just like, no, this is deeper than that.
Right.
Here is why. Because I watched a kid in Cincinnati get killed by the police and the riots happen and everything else. So I got to have a lot of sit downs with black people where they respect me as a person and they love me and they know my heart. And so they were willing to have those conversations with me or call me out when I did say shit that they knew they knew that I meant well, but I wasn't saying what I should be saying. You know what I'm saying? Right. And so they gave me perspective, and perspective is everything. But like I said, you don't know until you know. You only have your experience. You only have your perspective. And so sometimes shit just gets fucked up within that. Right. Everybody thinks that their perspective is truth because that's what the life that they've lived, and that's just not it.
Mm-hmm. What's your take on it all, Chucky?
I done caught myself like, you know, like being offensive, you know, but like you said, like you don't know it's offensive until you somebody check you for it, you know. So that's another thing, like us, like as people, like instead of lashing out like all the time, like from an anger perspective, like sometimes like y'all said, like that person genuinely didn't mean no harm. He just was misworded. I mean, he just misworded it. You know what I mean? Like, so yeah, it's just like, it all starts with a conversation pretty much. Like, if the conversation ain't being had, nothing is going to be solved.
Right.
But see, I don't know if like the world really ready to sit down and like you have like these small little pockets where people have that dialect and those conversations. But I feel like the masses of the world is not ready for it. It's like the powers that be, as we call it. You know what I'm saying? They're not going to look at it from all angles. Right. They just look at it from how they want to see it. You know, I feel like they look at it like, okay, black people is getting ahead now. African Americans are getting, you know, they having something.
Right.
So you should just be fine with having something.
Right.
You know what I mean? Go out there and play basketball and you making millions of dollars and just shut up and don't say nothing about the guy down the street that get shot. You know what I mean? Like, so
it's just crazy.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
But that's why it starts. It honestly, because those people, they have their platform. It is what it is. Like unless you're somebody that's able to reach them, and you know what I mean. But it still starts with me and you, right? It still starts with those two. Like
Right.
it starts with everybody little, and it just continue to create the conversation. You don't have a lot of people who I feel like have my perspective of like being raised in a racist household, yet having a half black mom, yet wanting and being intrigued by black people. I remember when I first started kicking it with like YNO, like Fame and Fonz and Tim. I would just be so intrigued when I would go downtown to like bring them to Clifton or downtown Cincinnati, and I'd be like, wow, it's so crazy when I like ride down the street and I just see black people just standing on the corners and shit. Like, and they're like, this isn't a fucking zoo. You don't just like talk about us and talk about black people like you're just looking out the window at them like they're fucking zoo animals. And I never, when I said it, it was just that I'm intrigued because I'd never seen that shit before.
Right.
I've never seen no fucking white people sitting on the corner and shit like that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I was like, this is crazy. But when I said it to him, it was like, he was offended.
Yeah, right.
And so I was like, oh, I didn't know.
Yeah, now you know, like,
Yeah, now I would never
so-
say some
so,
shit
so
like that.
enlighten me. So
But
I
yeah,
see
but
how it can go.
It took
Right.
a lot of conversations, and it took a lot of people that really fuck with me who genuinely knew my heart, like, you know what I mean, to explain to me why what I
Right.
was saying was racist, because
Right.
I didn't understand.
Right.
And it's not like I just took it immediately when it was like, oh yeah, I understand, okay. Like sometimes I'm just like, you're fucking tripping.
Right.
You know what I mean? Until I really thought about it. Oh, okay, I see what you're saying.
Now, so Lolo, you said, well, of course you had to bring the baby with you.
Yeah.
So you coming from would you say that you're a single mother or
Mainly, yes.
mainly? What do you mean by mainly?
Like
Elaborate.
River's dad, you know, he gets him on the weekends, but there's no like financial help. There's none of that, and so it just, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to put all my son's dad's business out there because that's not really fair. But you know, I was doing it alone until just a couple of months ago, really.
Okay.
6 months ago, 7 months ago. So. Yeah, I mean.
So do you find it hard because you know used to like you were involved in a lot of things before you left, like before you had kids, like you know what I mean, you would do, if people don't know, like you help plan events, you do events yourself, you we're doing some podcasting, so do you find, and you just do a whole bunch of other shit, like I know you read a lot, you just all around you just do a lot.
Yeah.
So do you still find time to do it with kids? Because
it's-
before you elaborate, some people have kids and it's just like it's the end of the fucking world. They just like, oh, I just give up. I just got to take care of kids. I can't do nothing else.
But I get that, because it's fucking hard when you're, especially when you're a single parent. You know, it's one thing when you have somebody in the household or even just somebody in your life who, okay, you take the kids, I'm going to go do this and I'm going to handle this business after work. You know what I mean? But like, I don't get the luxury of that. So, you know, River's dad has been very helpful. Like when Rain has been in the hospital a lot in the last couple of months, and River's dad has been super helpful with that. So I'm not saying that I don't have anybody, especially for River. Like his dad pulls through when I ask him, and he's able, because he loves his son. He'll take his son anytime. But it's not easy. I just started getting that. You know what I mean? And then I had a whole nother baby whose dad isn't involved. So it's not easy. It's very hard. And then you want to do stuff, and then the baby is sitting there and he's cooing and talking. And if River was here, there would be no way. You know what I mean?
Busy
It would
body.
be impossible. Yeah, he's 2.5. He's busy. He wants to talk. Mommy, 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 mommy. So it's like, I get why people they feel like it's the end of the world. I have been asking my best friends to help out when they can, so I can do things like help. I've helped my friend Brandon shows. He goes by TV shows. Shout out to him. He's dope. He's dope ass artist, and he just recently threw his listening party for his first album, on a party bus, and then did a show at Chad, the Real Feel Arts.
We hit the Chad.
Yeah,
You know
the
Chad.
Mayflower, his event. He performed there. That's where the party bus picked everybody up and dropped everybody off. And this fucking art show was amazing. Like Chad did, it was just incredible. The whole experience was incredible from start to finish. And then they threw an after party. So I helped organize all of that and plan all of that. And then the week before that, I was just working the door for an event for the Renaissance. What is it? The Renaissance something. But they're amazing too. Gabe Henry is the one who, I think his name is Gabe Henry. But yeah, Gabriel Henry. So he is like starting to throw events and stuff. And so I just worked the door for it. But like I've been able to make money doing these things.
Okay.
So I've been asking my friends to help me and allow me to make some extra money outside of this, because obviously I need to take care of my kids and I'm doing it by myself. I'm working full time. You know, we all know that when you have an hourly full-time job, it's like you only can make so much money.
Right.
You can only cap out at so much. So doing these outside events have been helpful. Before, when I did everything, before I had kids, like I never made any fucking money. And I did everything for free because I could. I had the luxury of being able to do everything for free.
And you was doing a lot.
Yeah.
Like backstory for people who don't know, when I met Lolo, I met Lolo through going to do events in Cincinnati with STA Joey. So we would go to events down there, like clothing events, music events, you know, being vendors or just going just to pull up and just show what the brand had to offer. And Lolo would be at everything. She would be in the building. I think you even went to one, Chuck. We went to it was one at like a Mexican spot.
Yeah.
And we went to an event there. And I think we performed.
Yeah,
I think we
y'all
performed. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the one in Mount Adams.
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I pulled up and you guys were all sitting in the booth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cause Middletown guys, like we're social,
Yeah.
but we gotta find that social niche sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes because it's so small here, so it's like everybody just be in their pocket. But then when we
Yeah.
get there and we get around so many like creatives and stuff like that, we like, damn, these people just like us.
Yeah.
And then they show us love, we show love back. So it was always
That
dope,
was
but-
a Jay Salandino show.
Yep.
Yep.
And shout out to Jay Saladino. I just seen him not too long ago out shopping. Yeah.
Yep.
So you've been around. I say that to say you've been around doing a lot of events, being in the background. Some of them you in the forefront, but you have been around. And it's dope now that you said you got some friends that's helping out, so you can go out and make some money.
Yeah.
Because we
So-
do it for the love, but sometimes we don't want to do it for free all the time.
And that's where it's like I wish I would have made people pay me back then, because it was like I really did a lot of shit for a lot of people for free, like on a consistent basis. And if I would have made people pay me for everything, I probably would have been still doing it, and I probably would still be. I'd find a babysitter for it. You know what I mean? Because it would be worth it to me. My problem is like I'm very like I don't do the fake shit, you know what I mean? And a lot of Cincinnati artists are just fake, and a lot of Cincinnati artists, they don't want to do anything for anybody else unless it benefits them, and I'm just not really like that. Like I'm going to do stuff for you even if it doesn't benefit me, which was what my networking events were. Like I put on the networking events, I put them on for free, and then I did open mics at them, so that way artists could connect, artists could see other artists, producers could see artists, they could all connect. There's people to this day that are working together based off of these events that I threw. I never made a dime from it. And the thing is like at that time I didn't need to, because I was fucking with everybody. I'm like, I need everybody to meet everybody. I'm like, I'm really good at building relationships, so I know a lot of people, and I need y'all to know each other, because what the fuck, y'all are all talented.
Right.
But the more I got into it, the more I seen, oh, so you're not going to do anything for this person because you're not benefiting from it. You're
Right.
selfish.
Right.
You're really, truly a selfish individual, and I don't fuck with that. So when I started getting into it deeper, I started to realize, like, oh, nah. So it's like, I'll come out and I'll help out off the strength, but give me gas money at least. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like that, like, but like I told shows, like, I'm coming out of this for you.
Mm-hmm.
But he's like, man, I really think you need to, and I'm just like, bruh, I'm coming out of it for you.
Right.
I'll do things for you, and I'll do things for you. But I'm not going to do things for everybody because it's just,
Right.
I'm not for everybody, and
Right.
everybody ain't for me. And
Right.
I think that the people who value me are going to be willing to pay me, and that just is what it is. So, but I do want to get back into my podcasting game. Me and my friend Becca, we have a podcast coming out that's Below the Surface because her name is Becca, and I go by Lo. So it's Below the Surface. We're going to get deep on some shit. Also super goofy and shit, so...
So you had spoke yourself about getting back into podcasting
Yeah. So
with you and your homegirl.
yeah, Becca. So it'll be Below the Surface.
Mm-hmm.
Or we'll just talk our shit, get silly. She's really funny. So, but
And we met Becca, didn't we?
no, you met Tasha.
Okay, Tasha. Remember she brought somebody with her last time she came? Blonde hair.
Oh, yeah, okay.
That was
Yeah.
Tasha. Okay.
Yeah,
I don't know if
Tasha's
we ever
always
met
been a
Becca.
rider with me. Tasha's been up to like Joey's shop to help and stuff like that too. So
Okay. So what is that podcast about? Like, what are y'all gonna be talking about on there?
everything, life in general, like parenting. So being a mom and sex and everything. I love
All
talking
that
about
good
sex. So we're gonna talk about that. I'm very open and just honest. Becca is too, but you kind of got to get more out. Like you kind of got to work it out of her. Whereas I'm just like just straightforward, just whatever you want to know, and just I'll just tell you too much. So it'll be fun. We'll see.
But they like that. People like for on your podcast to like get to see the real you. So
Oh yeah, I think that's it's interesting because I think like obviously I'm not for everybody, right? There's definitely people who don't like me, but the majority fuck with me because I'm just so real and I'm like just honest and vulnerable. Like what you see is what you get. I don't wear makeup. Like
that's the way to be.
I look crazy. This is me. You know what I mean?
You don't like makeup?
No,
Why is that?
just don't. I like to be me. Like maybe I'll throw on mascara if I gotta go do something, but like I'm me. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't need all the extra shit to
Right.
be.
And what people don't know, and I kind of forgot that you are vegan. And how long have you been vegan?
So I'm like 90% vegan. The rest is like vegetarian because I do cheat. I will eat ice cream or I will eat like the brownies that have milk or egg in it. But I've been on the vegan journey for like 5 years, but I've been a vegetarian for 16.
Okay.
So I haven't eaten meat since I was 15.
And what made you stop?
My research. I had a teacher who was teaching us the difference between bias and unbiased when it comes to like textbooks and things and what we read and the material that we read. And we need to make sure that, you know, we're doing research on all levels, not just the bias research of one opinion and they have one motive and objective to get you to feel this type of way. But she read the class a page of this book called Skinny Bitch, and they were obviously biased because they didn't fuck with the meat industry and like the slaughterhouses. So they went into the slaughterhouse and they got to see how the slaughterhouses get down, and they wrote a book about it, and it was disturbing. So I went home, and I'd already tried to be vegetarian, but I would like forget I was vegetarian after like 12 hours and eat a turkey sandwich or something. So I went vegetarian multiple times before that.
Right.
But that was because I knew I loved animals and I knew I didn't want to eat meat, but I was so used to eating meat. My dad has always worked in meat factories. Like he's always been a boss in a meat factory. So he's always worked at Johnsonville and what is that? Some food groups or whatever the fuck that food group place is called in Sharonville. So he always had hella meat. Like we always got really good steaks, brats, all that shit. So we always had meat for dinner.
Right.
So I would forget. Then I came home that day after she read that shit, and I did my fucking research. And I was sitting there at the computer. We're only on big computers, and I mean these phones aren't out yet with this.
Right.
Bro, I was sitting there crying.
Mad at your dad?
No, I wasn't even mad at my dad because I knew that
How
like
can you slaughter these?
I've always been very aware, like beyond like even what I think that I'm aware. And like my biggest thing is like I always say like Americans we blindlessly eat. So a lot of times like if I start to tell you how things are made or how it's processed, I don't want to know. I don't want to know.
That's how I am.
I don't want to
I don't
know
wanna hear
because
that shit.
because if you tell me, I'm gonna be disgusted, and I might have to stop eating it for a little bit until I forget what you told me.
Remember that one
I
time
can't.
we was watching some kind of DVD and then they had a little thing on there where it was about chickens.
They just threw it in there randomly.
Yeah, it
didn't
was
they?
just a random like we was watching like some kind of it was like a Smack DVD or something like that, and then they just threw this little chicken thing in there. How they did chickens and stuff, and then they put it in this thing and it spin and all this stuff. Man, we ain't eat chicken for about a month after that, man.
For me,
So
it
you
was-
forget it until you forget about it, and then
Yeah.
you're like, then you eat it, and you're like, oh, okay,
So
whatever.
many- so
We
many-
was like, we not eating chicken. Then we got to a barbecue,
right.
and they was
So many blunts
and
later.
that chicken was seasoned up.
I
couldn't help myself.
couldn't help it. But yeah,
Yep.
we seen that video. We wasn't.
If you got deep into your research, you'd be like, oh my
That's
fucking
why,
god.
yeah.
So that's why I stopped eating meat, and then I've just always kind of realized like people don't know better. You know what I mean?
Right.
There's all the information out there in the world that they can research, but a lot of people just would rather blindlessly eat and be able to get what they want instead of doing their research and.
So I wanna spin back around, Lolo, because me and Chucky, we had a conversation earlier about seeing that you just doing this on your own. You're not really worried about having a man in your life. I know if a man comes, then you would probably embrace that. But
Right,
if it don't come, you know what I mean, you're not about to go out there looking for it. And Chucky, he called my phone and we chopped it up a little bit earlier about how. Well, you go ahead and say it, Chuck. Like about women in general, what they want nowadays.
Like I mean, just based off social media, I'm not saying all women. It's like they say one thing but mean another. Like, is they really looking for love or do they want the money? It seems like it seems like a lot of women. I ain't saying all women, because there's some good women out there. It seems like all women is more focused on what a man can do financially. And then, like, because you will see, like, all the time, like, you will just be on social media platforms. You will just see, like, random people, random females talking about if you broke, I can't fuck with you and this and that. But then sometimes it'd be that same woman on there and be like, who's buying me lunch today? Here's my cash app.
Right.
Absolutely.
I need my nails done. Who got me?
Absolutely. And
backwards.
You know what I mean? So I'm like, if you don't want a broke man, but then you keep posting your cash app asking for little stuff like that.
doing broke behavior things.
Yeah, what does that make you?
And then some girls, like you said, not even asking for the money. Some girls is like, oh, I'm cool with being by myself, but then, oh, I'm lonely. They'll put on Instagram, all I need is me. But then you go see them on Snap. Oh, I'm lonely. I'm sitting here lonely. I'm bored. I wish I had somebody to cuddle with. So it's like, what is it?
This single shit is for the birds.
What is
like,
it? What does a woman
I miss
want?
coming
What do
home
you
to
want?
Somebody. And then you will see somebody there shoot they shot, because that sometimes it be some guys that just be like, it's an invitation for them to shoot they shot, and
Right.
then what do? They end up screenshotting it and putting it on social media and talking about they thirsty, but let alone, but you the one set the trap for it though.
Right.
So you being a woman, what's your take on all of it?
Me being a woman, what is my take on it? So I don't think I don't think the single life is necessarily fun. I don't think that raising my sons by myself is fun. I think it's a less of a headache to some degree. But I'm very much so a nurturer. I love, like, when a man is in my life, I love to give him all of me, right? Like, I love that. But I feel like there's so many times where it's like, we're good by ourselves. Like, it's fine. And some moments are fine, but then there is other moments where it's like, damn, like, I really am alone. Like, don't nobody text my phone. Like, I don't, you know what I mean? I don't. So it's like, I get that. Would I ever post, oh, I'm lonely? That word alone is just, that word lonely is just like, I don't know about that. That's a weird word for me. I don't fuck with that. I'll never say I'm lonely, the fuck. But I get it, though. Like, some people really are lonely. You have some people who are actively seeking relationships and because they do feel lonely.
Right.
I don't feel lonely because I have my kids and I have my best friends and stuff like. But like, I can't even lie and say that like I don't have my hoes where I you know what I mean, like. So I get my moments in when I need it.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I don't know, but as far as like the money part goes, like. I don't know. That it's hard for me to answer that one because I've always been the person where it's like I'm the one with that the guys are just like, oh, I've never had anybody buy me lunch before. I've never had anybody go out of their way for me like you've gone out of your way. So I like, whereas a lot of dudes are used to always spending the money, I don't allow that just because I don't want to owe anybody anything. And I don't want you to ever have anything over my head and be like, oh, you owe me.
Right.
I spent this on you and I did this for you and I got you this. Nah, you ain't about to say that about me. You ain't never going to be able to say that about me.
Right.
And so what you do for me, I do for you. I always give. And I usually overgive, and that's part of the problem.
Right. But my thing is, for the people that's watching, it like you said, you don't like the word lonely, but sometimes you can get
Absolutely,
lonely.
yes.
But I just feel like just don't go and get anybody. Don't just grab like make
And
sure that
that's-
person is for
like,
you.
And then that's another thing.
Ooh,
like
that's a really good one.
another thing. Like I feel like a lot of women they just get anybody just so they can post them on social media for validation.
But that's the same thing with men. Men
Men
will do
do
that
it too.
exact same shit because there's been so many men where
Both.
it's like
Yeah.
they really want to date me, and I'm like, but why? Well, because I'm lonely. I really want a relationship. The fuck? I'm not about to be your because I'm lonely.
Right.
I want you to be able to have every option in the world and pick me.
Right.
You choose me because you fuck with me genuinely, not because you're lonely. Because once you stop being lonely and then another bitch starts entertaining you, then what?
Right.
So I don't know. Men do that exact same shit. There's been so many men where I've walked away from them because I realized you'll be with anybody because you're lonely.
Right.
And you got me fucked up. I ain't that lonely.
Sucks. That sucks.
But also, what was my point? What did you just say?
About just get with anybody, or you talking about before that?
I don't know. My brain is everywhere. I'm so sorry. I don't. Because when you said that, I was like, oh fuck. But then
I always say this. Like in a relationship, it's always like a want. It's always me. I look at it as a want or have to. You shouldn't have to do anything. You should want to do it. Like you shouldn't be in a position to be like, oh, I gotta cake her up or I'm a loser. That means you have to.
Right.
You should want to do that. You know.
Absolutely.
Like it's a want and have to. Like you should want to do the things for it. You shouldn't feel like you have to do it.
absolutely.
What about this, Chuck? Because like you speaking on it from a from like females wanting money from that perspective. But what about the females who necessarily don't want money, but they just needy in all other phases of life? Like they want. Okay, you work a lot of hours, right?
Right.
Let's say a female doesn't want money, but she just want like all your time. Like how do you play that?
Well, I mean, like I said, like she gotta. First of all, we gotta come. Like first of all, it starts with communication. So once you communicate, like your schedule, like, hey, I work this and that or whatever with a third. You know what I mean? She gotta understand that, and then if she do understand that, I'm willing to take it a step further to be like, okay, I ain't at my 9-to-5 job, but I got other work I'm doing, like a podcast or something like that. Hey, come over here, sit in the background, chill with me, and watch me do the podcast if you want to spend time. You know, sometimes it's a give or take thing. Like sometimes, like, hey, sometimes you gotta be like, hey, man, you should love that. Like your woman want to be around you sometime a lot. Like for real. Like that's love for real. So you gotta make time for it. Like you can't make all the time, but like I said, like little stuff. Like right now, like I'm single right now, but if I was in a situation like that, she'll be in the background sitting right there while we in the behind the scenes. Come chill.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's a give or take.
That makes sense. I look at it like
It's compromise. I should say.
right, and I think that start off with getting the maturity. You got to get like
growth.
mature. You got to
takes
get
growth.
but you got to also get a girl that's somewhat mature,
Right.
because some younger girls they not going. You get them ones in the 20s and maybe even like the mid 20s, and I don't want to come to the podcast. I don't want to come to the studio while you do it. I want you to come over here and lay up. I want to fuck and I want to lay up and binge watch this show. You have that. That's when it starts getting.
But then that's when the complications come, because she's not supporting your dream. You know what I mean? So like if she ain't supporting your dream, like that's a problem. Like because it's not like I'm out just doing everything like in the clubs or nothing like that. Like I'm actually out working, trying to build something. You know what I mean? Like trying to build something. It ain't like I'm just out here just because I don't want to spend time with you. Like if I could, I would love to spend all the time I can with you. But shoot, we thinking bigger than this right now. Like it ain't gonna happen. It ain't gonna happen by itself.
You heard him. We ain't got time to sit up and be fucking and watching all the seasons of Walking Dead and whatever other shows. It's shit.
Well, and I think
Law and Order.
I think like that is a big part of the maturity, a part of finding the right person for you, right? Like when you start to peep, like I feel like because people are lonely and shit, they'll deal with a lot of shit and they'll go through a lot of shit with people that like are not worth it.
Right.
When a motherfucker can't come to the podcast and chill in the background because they want to spend time with you, but then bitch that they don't get to see you. Right. That's probably not your person. Because if the podcast takes off, you're gonna take off. Right. You have live shows to do. You have other podcasts to be on. You have radios. Like you are gonna want so much more once that shit takes off, right? And so it's like that's how I always tell all my homies who are in the industry, right? You need to find somebody who is good with what you do. They are understanding of what you do. They're not jealous. They're not competitive of all of this. They are understanding, and if they need to, they're gonna be right there with you, doing the work with you, right? So. I mean, your girl, she's sitting out there, right? She's out there, but she's making sure that the camera's good. She's making sure that the sound is good. She's making sure we look good. You know what I'm saying? So you have to find the person that's meant for you and that is down for the dreams and the goals that you have and shit. And I think, too, like, a lot of this money shit and if you can't do this as a man, then you're not a man. But, like, a lot of that is really just social media. You know what I mean?
That's a fact.
It's like you get on social media now and you see all of these memes and you're just like, oh, that's what I should run with and that's how I should live my life. Right. Nobody has their own thought process of what it looks like to be a man, what it looks like to be a woman, what it looks like to be in a relationship, what it looks like to give and take. Right. So a lot of these motherfuckers don't have relationships or successful relationships or anything.
Right. It should be fake.
As
fake.
fuck.
Yeah.
And then you go off of you. Just like fucking Megan Good and Devon Franklin, like these motherfuckers are putting out a book on why you should wait because it's if you wait till marriage, everything is gonna be fucking butterflies and rainbows and all types of shit. And here we are, they're divorced. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's like people idolize other people so much and celebrities so much in the shade room and Hollywood Unlocked and shit so much that they have no idea how to fucking do their own life. Right. How
I didn't want to stop you, but to piggyback off that, I had a situation where I seen how it really was. I seen a rapper that's somewhat famous, you know what I mean, and he has a relationship of a person he's been with, a pretty girl. That I know a lot of guys would want that girl if they had a chance to get her. And, I'm thinking, like, it's real. Like, they in a real relationship, it's real. And, we all out kicking it. And he, like, where the bitches at? And I'm like, damn, I didn't know. I'm thinking, like, I thought you was locked in with your situation because how y'all make it look. You know what I mean? There's other girls that's looking at this like, oh, he treat this girl good. He keep her in this. He do this and do that. But he out asking where the hoes at. So, but let me.
And a lot of these motherfuckers are smart because they have motherfuckers sign NDAs and shit.
Right.
So especially these famous people, they are out here. They are doing their shit, but they have people signing NDAs.
Right.
If you come out, you're fucked.
Right. And let me ask both of y'all this because I feel like both of y'all know something. Is there like a certain like a grace period that you would give to kind of try to figure somebody out? Because motherfuckers will trick you. You would get with somebody, you be like, oh, like you said,
Absolutely.
like this person down. I think they riding. They gonna make sure this is good. They supporting the dream and all this. And then you get with them and y'all get serious and then they just flip the script, man and women.
Right.
They're like, you know what I'm saying? You be like, oh, I'm thinking they one way, and then the man, oh no, you ain't about to be going to no club and promote.
Right.
The girl, oh, you ain't about to be going to interview no women and shit like this. Like, so
That's
is there
that
like
weird shit.
right? So is there like somewhat of a grace, like not a grace, but like a just a time limit that you should give just to really try to figure the person out?
I personally don't think so. I don't think it's a time limit.
It ain't no time
because
limit.
anybody
Just find
can
out when
switch
you
up
find-
on
right,
you.
right.
Anybody can switch up at any time. So it can
Anytime.
take you a month and it can take you 2 years.
Right.
But either way, you have to understand where you're going and what you want for your life. And so even at 2 years and you're madly in love with this person and they start to show you like there one dude that I talked to, he's been around for like 5 fucking years and he always tries to come back. And I always am like, oh my God, I just would love if you could come back. Like, I would love it if we could work this out. But you're jealous of any male that is in my life. You don't support any fucking thing that I do. The only thing that we have is our past and a strong connection based off of that. At this point, like, I'll speak to you when I see you or when you hit me up, but that's all that I can do.
That's all we can
So as
do.
much as I love you and as much as I have love for you and as much as I care about you, I could never.
Right.
If you changed who you are, maybe this would work. But like, I had to understand, like, I'm never going to stop talking to males. I'm never going to not have male friends. I'm never going to not want to be in the podcast world or, you know, share my life on social media and shit like that. If there are certain things you can't accept, or if I see these red flags, I mean, it doesn't matter how long it's been.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because I see a different vision for my life.
Right.
Like, for me, I see myself being able to eventually do a podcast with the person that I'm with. Like a relationship podcast where we're super real, we're super vulnerable, we're like, you know what I mean? We share things, we share our life. Even when we're fighting, we share that because that's a part of what real relationships go through and what real relationships look like. Right. When I meet men that are like, I could never hop on a podcast, I could never hop in front of a camera, I could never hop on a mic, I'm just like, you are probably not for me. You know what I mean? You don't have to be that, right? But like, to know that you could never...
Right.
To know that you're not even
Willing to try,
open-minded enough to be
try,
like, oh, I
right.
could try. We could
Yeah.
see where it goes is weird to me.
Right.
It's not my life. So, I mean, what do you feel about the timeline?
I mean, yeah, like I always take it one day at a time. Like you said, like anybody can flip any day. Like it could be cool, like you said, a month, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, a year, and then all of a sudden, year 2. Nigga, where the hell you think you going?
Yeah.
Okay, you go there, but make sure your motherfucking ass is back by 9:30.
Right. Or even
Like,
even when kids get involved, now they think that they own you. And so they think that because, oh, well, I have a baby at home, now you need to have these real conversations with people. I think that a lot of people lack honesty and vulnerability.
Right.
Which is a really great conversation if you guys want to.
Yeah.
If we could.
Yeah.
So I was listening to this other podcast and they were talking about the difference between honesty, vulnerability, and like omitting. And they were like, you know, you can like, I'll just tell you things. And that's just what I'll tell you, you know, that I did a podcast, but I only saw this guy. I don't say I saw this guy. I only say I saw this guy because he's the only one that matters or whatever. But then, or if you ask me, and that's omitting, right? Because I'm telling you the truth, but I'm not telling you the whole truth.
Right.
Honesty is like, you ask me and I'm going to tell you like, oh yeah, this person was there and this person was there. And yeah, I saw them. But being vulnerable is like, hey, I did a podcast today and I saw this person and I saw this person. This is what we talked about. And this is what, so there's a difference between like, you know, how you go about telling your truth.
Right.
Which vulnerability,
which would be a lot more healthier.
Yes. Vulnerability is not something that a lot of people have within them because they don't trust people,
Right.
But especially men.
Right.
They're not, they like, and this is a conversation that's going on around the world is vulnerability with men because men don't feel like they can be vulnerable because even when they are vulnerable, women almost, oh, that's adorable. It's cute. Or you're weak.
Facts.
You're weak as fuck.
Facts.
So, and that's another part of social media. If a man is vulnerable and he's telling you everything, oh, he's a bitch.
Me personally, I don't care. I got my vulnerable side, and I'm gonna let you know how I feel, and I don't care what you say about it. I don't care who says anything about it.
Right, and as it should be.
Right.
Because my whole thing is like, we're in this life, we have this one life, and I just don't understand the point of feeling the need to lie or to not be honest and vulnerable and not be straightforward. Like if I feel a way, I feel a way.
Right.
But also, if I want to tell my truth, it's my truth to tell. This is my life.
I think a lot of us, a lot of black men, we've had to be so masculine. We've had to be real masculine. So I think that's one of the problems. But I'm here to say to my brothers, all races, just if you gotta be vulnerable, bro, just be vulnerable, bro.
Yeah, man. Cause sometimes, man, because if you're not, man, that shit'll eat you alive,
Yep.
man. It'll eat
You will
you
sit
alive.
there and you will sit there and bottle it. You will bottle it all up. You will bottle it all up and explode.
Like people have
You'll
like
explode.
stress and mental health is like very big right now. Like that's like killing people the most right now. A lot like it's silently, but really though, like mental health is big. Like because like us, we was always taught like me and you, Boo, we was always taught like, hey, nah, man, we should get through that shit, man. We don't need therapy or nothing, like you know what I mean, but. We was taught that,
Right.
like, man, nah, man, we'll figure it out. Like, we hard. You know what I mean? We supposed to be hard. But now, the more you get older and stuff, it's all right to be vulnerable. I don't mind it. I don't care.
And I share my vulnerable stories on this podcast.
Yeah, and then a lot of stuff is a lot of things is like it always comes back to social media. What I always say, like people need validation. See, until you start looking at social media as just entertainment and not real, you ain't gonna never get nowhere. Like, cause if you just keep going there, like, oh, I feel like I gotta post this picture because I think motherfuckers be sleeping on me and I need to show them where I'm at in my life. But I'm like, long as you good where you at in your life, bro, that's all that matters. Who cares what anybody else thinks? Like, you can't please everybody.
Facts.
You can never please everybody. Like, it's gonna always be that hater. It's gonna always never like that's why I say I look at social media as entertainment. Like, it'd be funny to me. Like, I don't take none of it serious because I look at a lot of them on there. They just actors. Like, they that's just a character they playing on social media. That's not their real life 9 times out of 10.
Swear, it's so funny because like. Even like I always get like, oh my God, you're so sweet, you're so nice, da 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 da. Right. Even when we were talking the other day, I'm like, bro, I don't give a fuck about none of this shit. You're like, I didn't know you talk like that. Like a lot of people, they see me on social media, and that's why I always have to tell like I feel like once a year I'm telling social media like, yo, just because you think that I'm sweet, you think everything is good, like you don't know me. Like I'm very intense, I'm very aggressive, I'm very straightforward. But see, I have a mouth on me.
I think not just I thought that you were like just a sweet person. I feel like you with the energies and stuff like that. I feel like the first time I met you, you was I think Joey might have been going through some stuff or something, like trying to set the stuff up that we were there to do. And you know me, I'm just playing the background, and I think you was telling like just breathe, and just when people get to saying just breathe and it's gonna be okay, and
yeah, and that is 1000% me.
So I always just thought like once I heard you say that, I'm like, oh, Lolo is just this person that I'd never be like, bitch, fuck you, because I feel like you would be like, no, you're just having a bad energy, and you need to just take 5 deep breaths and look up to the sky and
woosah.
and woosah, and everything will be all right.
And I am that person, but at the same time, I'm also bitch, fuck you.
Right.
Because you got me fucked up.
Yeah.
Okay? Like, I don't play that shit. You got me fucked up. And so that's why I think it's funny, because even me, people think and see me one way.
Right.
This dude that he's always writes me on social media. We have a good relationship on social media, right? He came to the art show last week, and he's sitting there talking to me, and he was like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "What you mean? I'm good." And I'm just telling a story. He was like, "You just seem really intense right now." And I'm like, "This is me."
Right.
Like, first of all, one of my biggest things that I've always heard about me is, like, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. So I'm very intense, and my tone is very deep, and I'm very, like, passionate. So when I get passionate, you're just like, what the fuck? Like, right. I'm intense. I could never date another Leo, like, where it's too intense. So, but yeah, it's like, even with just me, so I understand how people see something on social media, or how easy it is for people to portray one thing on social media and not really be like that.
Right.
So it's like, I don't know. I just feel like this social media shit is so fake. So I try my hardest to also show, but I also don't like hearing me go off on social media. So I stopped doing that shit. Cause even when I look at videos from like 5 years that I've posted, I'm like, you are intense. Like,
Yeah,
relax.
I've seen a couple of videos where you done went off.
Yeah, and I'm intense. I'm very intense, but that is who I am. But like, I'm also at the same time like the person that's like very, like, everything is really okay. Like, everything is very temporary. How you're feeling is temporary. It's all gonna be good. Right. I go through situations and I handle them very, very well. Usually, like, I might be upset for like 10 minutes and be pissed off about something, but I don't carry it throughout my day. I don't project my energy onto other people. So I get really upset when people like project their bullshit onto me, stuff like that. So, but I am what you think. It's just there's more to me than that, you know?
So you are an energy person, but you would
yes, very
if you
much
had
so.
to, you would throw a jab at somebody if need be.
Yeah, like, I will definitely fight you. I will really real life fight you. I'll put my hands on you, like, you got me fucked up.
You out of that seat now, ain't you? Right. You back out the seat?
Yeah, he's just doing too much.
That's dope. So we also gonna break this news for our people that watch the Cookout podcast. Your boy Vuski and the Cookout podcast have an event coming up. We have the Fresh Fest.
First annual
Fresh Fest. We're gonna have some clothing vendors there. Some of the dope clothing vendors from around the tri-state. We got artists from the town and other surrounding cities, Columbus, Dayton. We got some Cincinnati artists coming up. And we just about to just put on like a real dope show. We have things here. Don't get it twisted. We have things, but it's not.
This is a little different.
Yeah, this is young.
Yeah.
This is fresh.
Yeah.
This is tasteful. This is just a dope event.
It's culture, man.
Yeah, we want to bring some culture to the town. Normally we have to go to the other surrounding cities. You know what I mean, to be a part of these events. You know, and they usually charge us. I'm not charging none of the vendors. I'm not charging none of the artists.
Everything's free.
Everything's free
for
entry.
Now.
Well, for now.
Yeah. First one.
The first one, we're going to give it to y'all for free.
Yeah.
And I like that Lolo chimed in because she's about to be helping with this event. She's been telling me some stuff that we're going to do behind all this to make it an awesome event because she's thrown events. And I don't really know what I'm doing, but I'm trying my best. Right. So I'm glad that, you know what I mean, that you
And I'm very excited for you. I believe in you. I believe in your vision, and I'm here for it. So
Thank you.
Like I said before, like you can't go nowhere unless you start somewhere.
Period.
Exactly.
Yeah, nah. So this is about to be really dope because I think too, it's going to like set the I don't know what you would call it. Set the tone for events moving forward, you know.
Right.
So
and we need that. We have creators here.
Yes,
we have
absolutely.
creators here, and it's still cool like to go out and venture out, but it's like I want to show the younger guys here that you can really put on for our city too.
Absolutely.
And throw some dope events.
Right. Same events you see in the other big cities or surrounding us, we can bring the same thing to the town.
Right.
Absolutely.
So it's definitely gonna be a dope vibe. Chucky gonna be playing a major role. Lolo about to be playing a major role. I got some other people that's gonna be playing a major role that I spoke to this week. We got the city police coming out to make sure everybody's safe. Right. You know, you throw these type of events and you want people to be safe. We got some bands. I have a live band coming. So if you don't want to hear the hip hop, you know what I mean, you can hear the live band. Yeah. You know what I mean? We got something for everybody.
Right.
It will be food there. Food is not free, but there will be, food. We're going to be giving away some prizes. Mm-hmm. It's just about to be a dope event, and I'm just blessed, and I'm just thankful that we can have it. Right. So, Lolo, we ain't going to even, give all the ending stuff that we normally do because you rocking with us. You brought Lil Man with you. So you going to be back. You're going to be here. You're going to be pulling back up on us since you back close, right? Yeah. You kind of right down the street.
I wouldn't say that, but yes.
Kinda. It ain't that far away. It ain't like driving from, like how you said you was on the outskirts of Chicago, probably driving into Chicago or nothing like that. So you back, and it's dope to have you.
I'm definitely excited. I remember you guys you hit me up like, oh, you should come on the podcast, and I'm like, oh, I'm pregnant with Rain. I was already 6 months pregnant. Nobody had known. So, yeah, I was going through it, but I'm excited because now I got my little baby here. He's absolutely perfect.
Yeah, he's been chilling.
Yeah,
I ain't heard him cry. He ain't cried since he been here.
Nope, he doesn't cry.
And at the cookout, we do stuff unorthodox. So, we be having Louis on here. Louis, I don't know if you got to see Louis on the camera. Louis got the cone. He going through some allergy things right now where he was scratching his ears up and all that. But we got the baby here. We got... we just do. You never know what you're gonna see at the cookout.
Since when has a dog and a baby not been invited to a cookout?
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And shout out to Jay Lee. Jay Lee couldn't make it today.
Which is unfortunate because I wanted to talk some sex.
We definitely have time for that. We talk sex too. We talk sex, but it's just a little bit more spicier.
It's more spicier coming from women to women instead of us.
It's your boy Booskin, aka Fatback Jackson. Ooh, with my co-host
Jordan Lee. F it is just me.
And this is the Cookout Podcast,
the world's most secure podcast.
Pull up and grab a seat, get a plate, we gon' eat with Chucky and Jay Lee. I'm Booskin, I'ma preach.
Run through the city, we stay lit. It's the Cookout. Pull up in your feels opinion.